Do you have flashbacks like a World War II veteran?
Like PTSD?
Yeah, like flashback to like just like rough times and conditions in the pen.
Nah, not at all. I mean, there were, riots and stuff like that.
Riots?
Yeah, riots.
What's the best thing you ever invested in?
Definitely not crypto.
The best thing I ever invested in?
It's your best investment.
Myself.
Okay, I love that for an answer because that's the real answer. But if we could be any more specific, like what investment did you make in yourself? Your technology
I'm gonna say time.
to be able to cook.
My time. Research.
Investing in bots were not your best investment.
Yeah, that was
No,
time and
because
learning how to do it.
I had to do it though.
I mean, absolutely. I understand that having a bot is half the battle. Just because you have a bot doesn't mean you can cook.
That's very true.
Right?
But it's more about information. It's just like
Shit's riding up in my dick.
this is gonna be bad. I just know.
No, this is a great start. Scott, what was your best investment?
3 years in prison.
Ooh,
to fix you?
because you got some discipline in there.
So when you're stripped of everything in life, you now have to build it from the ground up. And when you're building this from the ground up, everything is thought strategically based on how to build an infrastructure that's going to help you not come back and or be successful in life. So I literally had to clean my slate and spent 3 years in there trying to figure out how I was going to come out a different person.
Do you have flashbacks like a World War II veteran?
Like PTSD?
Yeah, like flashback to like just like rough times and conditions in the pen.
Nah, not at all. I mean, there were, riots and stuff like that.
Riots?
Yeah, riots. So like,
Why did you just casually say I was involved in riots?
so like if a riot were to break out, it depends on like where you're at. Riots in the rec center and riots in the chow hall are more dangerous because weapons. So like riots in the rec center outside, they'll hide daggers and knives and stuff in the dirt weeks in advance. So if things were ever to pop off, you would run back to your wherever you stashed your weapons. And
it's crazy that you're talking about prison and not Lord of the Rings. You would think Lord of the Rings, they hide daggers.
To be honest, I feel
that.
like what I'm imagining is that scene. What was that one movie? Not The Office, but the guy from The Office. 40-Year-Old Virgin, I think. Is that the one where they're like...
Yeah, Anchorman.
Anchorman.
Yeah.
Where he's like the trident and this. Like, I'm just imagining
he had a grenade and he's like, loud noise. He's just running around the grenade.
Was it like that? Like where chaos?
No, there was only a few times that I witnessed riots. Okay. One was in the rec center, but everything's grounded to the floor, so you can't like pick up weights. Everything's cable corded. But like when riots happen and you segregate by color or gang in the room that you're in, once the word gets to like the security guards, they're going to rush in, they're going to shoot pepper spray and pepper bombs. And so the minute the pepper bombs are sprayed or dispersed, it's now up to you to take off your shirt and wet it at a water fountain and then wrap it around your face. So that way the pepper spray doesn't get in your eyes or mouth and sticks to the
Did it hit you before?
to the wet shirt. And so you're just basically like, cornered in with your people look like the Taliban, and you just have your face completely wrapped and wet.
Sounds horrible.
And basically just waiting to see what's going on. If it's a riot that doesn't entail you, then you're just over there. And if it's the whites and the blacks, or Mexicans and the blacks, or the Tongos and the gangster disciples, and you just let them hash it out and do it, and then you're just kind of over here just in case it spills over. Yeah, spills over or whatnot. But
intense.
Yeah, the best time I ever or what was the question? The best time I've ever what? What was the actual initial question? Best investment. The best investment would probably be the penitentiary. I feel like going to the penitentiary was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why do you think it was such a... why was it a huge opportunity for you to discover yourself, who you are, where you wanted to be? What was the difference between you and other inmates that have, a higher recidivism rate for going back? What was it about the experience that allowed you to really
I was not like anybody in there.
Yeah, you realized that you didn't belong in there.
Yeah, I was like the odd man out when I was in there. And everybody knew that too. And I mean, I was cool with everyone. I was cool with all colors, all races, all gangs. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you have to pick sides. But it was just one of those things where when I'm in there, I just felt disgusted with myself being around all these types of people who think completely different from me, who are raised completely different from me, but yet I'm categorized as one of them because we're all in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
I used the tools that they gave me while I was there. So, school, college, GED, work, things of that matter. I picked up reading. So I read over like 102 books. I wrote hundreds, if not thousands of letters. Some days I would write 10 letters on a Saturday.
Who to who?
Everybody, family, friends, just different people. And then fitness. I really got into fitness. I went in there weighing like 145, got out weighing 185. And all I ate was just
Spread.
Spreads would be at night for sure, but during the day, like our meals were all cropped through our fields. So everything was very
Organic
homegrown and organic. So I ate nothing but vegetables and like really just vegetables.
That's
all
crazy.
I'd eat.
That's wild.
So for you on the other spectrum, Ian, coming from a background where you went to a traditional 4-year college, obviously 3 years in the pen and 4 years in college are two different experiences. But do you think that college prepared you properly for what you're doing now?
So a lot of people don't know this, but I didn't go to college for 4 years. I went to college for 8 years.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I went to college for 8 years.
For what? You're not a doctor.
I went to college for 8 years because I was a terrible student and partied my entire
Big
first
Lebowski or whatever?
No, I partied my entire first couple years of school. I never went to class, failed all my classes.
Ian, I'm very disappointed right now.
This is breaking news right
Yeah.
now. I didn't think Ian was like a straight A student. I knew you had a little edge to you, but I didn't know you were just out here Chris Farley.
We did we were not good kids at all.
Okay, so then at what point did you turn a corner and realize, okay, this is like my fifth year in college?
No,
and I haven't technically haven't even started yet.
No, so after messing up a couple years, I ended up my dad worked for BlackBerry at the time.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me.
Shout out BlackBerry.
Yeah, and
I would get another one right now.
And I got
typing is that much
I got
better.
an internship and I left school for a year. And I left school
Where were you interning?
at BlackBerry.
BlackBerry.
I must
corporate.
have just missed that.
We'll just get asked a random question.
Right after you answered it. So I was interning at BlackBerry. Where did you intern?
Well, I was trying to reach for my coffee and it almost fell over. I got
So then I interned at BlackBerry and it was corporate BlackBerry and I ran the beta team. So it was all of the phones before they came out. I would get all of them from the engineers. They'd give me let's say 100 phones, and then I'd have people that worked at BlackBerry. But BlackBerry was a global company, right? So all these people Thailand, England, Germany, whatever, would all sign up to be on this team, and they would all get seated phones. So the engineer team would give me 100 of whatever phone it was. I'd mail all those phones out, and then I'd connect it with the software engineers, and they would give me the new software update would get sent to me, and I'd load it to my web page where all these people would come and download it, put it on their phone, test it. They'd send me all the bugs. They'd send bug reports. I'd send that to the software guys. They'd fix that, and then they'd be like, all right, version 2 of this phone came out. So now everybody's got to mail me back those phones. I got to mail out all those phones, gather all the software bug reports to them, give it to the engineers. They would do that and just over and over and over and over and over.
Was this a paid job or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
an
it was paid.
internship? What is something like that paid?
It was paid. I was probably making 50, 60K.
So wait, why would you not just do both?
Do what?
Intern and still be in school?
Because it was a 40+ hour work. It was a regular job.
But was that internship gearing you towards what you were trying to do as a career? Or you just saw it was a good outlet of money and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a good resume.
What's weird is so you have prison and then you have college, and both of them, in a sense, can teach you how to be an adult.
Right.
Prison made me an adult. You can also come out a worse person, meet the wrong people in there, come out and nothing could change.
Right.
But majority of the time you go there and you learn discipline, morals, values, you get your shit together. And then when you get out, you have a mindset of I'm gonna go attack the world and figure out what I want to do in life. And some people go to school in there. And then you have college, which has kind of similarities, I feel like.
Yeah.
Preparations to be an adult, get you situated, correct. And then once you're done with college, now it's all on you from what you learned and gathered to make it happen. It's just prison is for the people that didn't want to go to college and didn't want to grow up. And then college is for the people that are trying to grow up and trying to be disciplined, but just don't want to do it. So they put themselves into school.
But I feel like there's two different routes at college.
Right.
There's the people that go and just do 4 years of college and stay in their dorm, don't go out and do anything. And there's that route. And then there's the people that go to college that go do all the college stuff.
Right, the most.
The frat parties, going
getting
out,
hazed,
getting all, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole other side to college. And in my opinion, I feel like you learn more about life through that way, because it's like, think of all the situations that you get into in college. You know what I mean? Like, that isn't even school related. It's just life lessons that you have to learn how to, how to survive by yourself. And like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
how it is in prison. You have to survive by yourself, but there's not two routes, because
it's
you
all
might
one,
try to do it one way, but you're stuck in a room with everyone else that's doing it the opposite way. So you're just like forced to just deal with everyone else's actions.
Let me ask you this,
you're
Scott.
Just kind of cornered.
I was helping Kyler fill out all of his FAFSA stuff. And we were talking about college, and I was joking around. I was like, I'm going to go to college with you. Like, Scott, do you feel like now, even as successful as you are, do you still feel like, I would like to have a degree?
No, I think the more books you read, you can
yeah,
learn a
because
lot
I'm going
from
to tell
that.
you right now, like,
there's too much free information out
Yes.
there to learn and be successful.
like I couldn't really tell you the last time I really used anything I learned in school. Like, everything that I use all the time is stuff I've taught myself.
Yeah.
Bro, geometry is the reason why I dropped out of high school. I could not get geometry down.
Really?
I didn't know how to do it. I think it's
Pythagorean
proofs
theorem and all
stuff
that
like
shit.
that. And I got so difficult that I would just go to geometry. Keep in mind, I'm now a junior in geometry, and then I finally was a senior in algebra 2 when you take algebra 2 as a junior, and then senior year is all supposed to be just what's it called?
Sometimes some people
select
do like
classes
pre-calc
or-
shit too.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
if you
Some people go
pre-cal.
to pre-cal if you.
But
wanna
usually your
continue.
senior year, it's all electives. You're not really
Oh,
all
yeah,
the main
yeah,
stuff's
yeah,
done,
yeah.
and you leave
get skip,
early.
senior skip and all
But
that.
I was a senior doing junior classes, which held me back from doing the last few classes I had to do as a senior.
All right.
So I wasn't going to be able to graduate with my class. So when I knew that was going on, I was just going to school and putting my head on my
Yeah,
desk.
you're like, there's no point in me trying because I'm
Right.
not going to go with my friends, and I'm not going to go with
And I was
another class.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so it got built up to where there's like 6 months left, and the principal calls me in there, and he's just like, yeah, you're not going to graduate the class. I'm sorry. Like, you're going to have to take summer school. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to walk the stage with my boys. Like, and he's like, no, you're not. I was like, cool, I quit.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean you quit? I was like, I quit. He's like, Scott, you can't just quit school. I was like, yeah, I can. Bye. And I just walked out.
Bye.
And I went across the street to my buddy Mikey's house and played Counter-Strike.
I was about to say, play Counter-Strike.
Matched bowls.
Yeah,
Played
match bowls and played Counter-Strike, and then went home and told my mom what happened, but she already knew because the school called.
Yeah.
I told her that I quit.
Yeah.
How do you just quit school?
Yeah.
6 months before.
For me, it was kind of like you. It was like too embarrassed to go back. I was 15. I moved to LA. I'd grown up in Texas, all the same friends, and I just wanted to be back in Texas to finish with all of my people I grew up with. So at the end of 10th grade, I moved to Cali. By the beginning of 11th grade, basically forced my parents to emancipate me. I moved back to Texas. I'm going to school here. And at some point, I get arrested at school,
Yeah.
kicked out, sent back to California. And this was at the end of my 11th grade year, and I was too embarrassed to go back. And essentially in Texas, like the difference in credits, like in California, I
Right.
basically had enough credits to
It
graduate.
doesn't
I
transfer equally.
Yeah, so
equivalent.
I had more than enough at the end of my junior year. I had to take like 2 small classes at like a night school or adult school, and I got my GED. But once I left California, went to Texas, and then got kicked out of Texas and sent back to California, I was too embarrassed to go back. And it's funny, I was actually thinking about it this morning, but I had this group of friends in California when I first moved there. There's these brothers that I know. Marquel is the oldest one, and he's a huge athlete, always been an athlete, big football player, huge guy, right? So I was hanging out with Marquell and all these athlete friends at some point. And then whenever I went back to Texas and then I got kicked out of school and then I came back, I started hanging out with Marquell's 2 younger brothers, Mikey and Montel. And Mikey and Montel were more like skateboarders. We're listening to Jimmy Eat World and skateboarding every day and drinking Steel Reserve and hanging out. And at some point, I got Marquell. I was hanging out with the skater friends, and there was like these basketball courts and these tennis courts where we used to skate. And Marquell had let me borrow these cleats whenever I first came to California, and then I got banged on for these cleats when we were out skating at the tennis courts. We used it as our own little skate park, and then Marquell banged on me. I need give me back my cleats, cuh. And it's like still a thing. Montel always tells me to this day, I still need my cleats back.
Did you give him
like
back?
Getting on me. Yeah, I gave his cleats back. But I got banged on because I had that transition of like, I was an athlete, all of this stuff. And then I started skateboarding and hanging out and all this other stuff. And then I got banged on for cleats in LA. So shout out Marquell. I need my cleats back,
Marquell, Marquise, Montrell.
Yeah, there's a lot of M's going on over
There's
there.
9 of them, and they all have M names except for the oldest one, who is Brittany.
What? That's crazy.
I don't know how that happened,
field.
but yes, there's 8 of them with
That's
M
lit.
names,
That's
and
lit.
they're still to this day some of my favorite people on the planet. But yes, and it's interesting to see where all of their lives played out as well, considering how we were running around. But yeah, man, I was too embarrassed to go back, but these days I sit back and I think about it and it's like, man, I should have a GED. Like, I should have a degree. It's almost not necessarily regret because I am comfortable and I am successful. But at the end of the day, what I dislike is that people may discredit us.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I don't
No one
think
gives a
people-
shit about
No,
none of that
they
anymore. I
don't.
feel like
They
I've
don't.
met too many very well successful people that are in the same position as me.
I mean, it's not like you're going to be applying anywhere.
No. Smartest people in the most successful businessmen on the planet are all like college dropouts and
So-
whatnot.
Yeah.
To second that, my father, when we were in the truck one time driving, I had done some dumb shit and he's driving with me. And he was just talking to me about certain situations. And he's like, what you got to understand, Scott, is you're going to be all right. He's like, adversity makes the weak weaker and the strong stronger. So the adversity that you're going through in life, these positions and places you're putting yourself into that are causing you problems and creating this adversity is going to make you stronger and in ways that you're not going to even imagine. And so fast forward, several years later, I'm out of prison and I'm, starting a business and creating a business, and we had to talk about it, and it all makes sense now because I come into these roadblocks and these hiccups along the way, and I use the adversity that I went through as a child when I was causing these problems in my life and trying to find ways around them. Now I'm taking that and I'm relating it to business. And so when I run into a problem in business, I don't fold or bend. I literally find ways around it because I've been struggling with roadblocks my whole life. And so it makes sense now what he means by saying that most successful people are people who have been through shit because they understand the work that needs to be done to overcome whatever obstacle it is that's in your way. Because I've seen several people who go to school, have no experience, hit a roadblock, fail, fold, run, turn around, I don't understand it. For me, it's like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna try to figure out how am I gonna get through this? What's the way around this? And I feel like all 3 of us do this.
People have to understand we spend 90% of our time overcoming obstacles, even sitting here now as 3 successful guys.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is like, I feel like one of the key things too that has to do with like even like technical, like learning how to beat technical issues, like
bot protection,
like it just information, like IT stuff, right? Like, all right, this printer's not printing. Why is it not printing? Like learning all those IT troubleshooting step can be applied to a computer, a car, your house, your business. Like just learning how to troubleshoot shit in life lets you troubleshoot anything. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that I've ever learned.
I second that, and I've said it before. That is the most valuable thing that I got from my dad. My dad was always an IT guy and grew up in the era like early 2000s. Everybody was like building their own PCs and like put a CD burner in it and all of that kind of stuff.
RAM and color cards.
Yeah, my dad's the same way.
And my dad was that guy. So when I was like 11 or 12 and I got my first computer and I got like a monitor, a hard drive, a fan, a motherboard, it was all in pieces. And it was like I had to learn how to put this thing together.
Back when it was cheaper to build a computer.
And so that was the thing is my dad would never like just do things for me. He would, if he was changing my mom's oil, he'd make me come out there and learn how to do it with him, mowing the lawn, all of these things. And so still to this day, even with Corey, when we're working on the cars, we run into an issue. The first thing we do is go to the computer and troubleshoot, and we laugh and we figure it out every time. And I'm just like, we gonna figure it out. A lot of people may think, oh, Larry's smart. No, it's not that I'm smart. It's the ability to
You take some extra initiative.
Yes, to sit down and figure something out. I have friends that just ask questions, right? How do I do this? How do I, like, their first instinct is to ask somebody else the
Instead
answer.
of at least giving it a shot.
Yeah, but my first instinct is to let me go to my computer and figure it out, And I think that's taken me a lot further.
Larry's definitely bailed me out of a million different things. But vice versa. Like, I do certain things that are more meticulous on a different scenario.
Scotty thinks about the things that I would never think about. And they're little details to me or things that I don't think twice about. But then on the back end, when we get feedback, it always makes me think about the chandelier in the store. Scotty did not want to open our store without this chandelier being up in the store. And I'm like, it's such a small detail. Like, who cares about this chandelier? It is the least of anybody's worry who's going to come in here and shop. And then we open up and we have the grand opening and everybody's like, man, I love it. And look at the chandelier. Oh, man, it looks great in here. And look at this chandelier. And I'm like, yep. There we go. That's Scotty for you.
Yeah.
And so I feel so, for me, that having a troubled life, I think, is why I'm so successful. It's basically what that whole question boils down to, is going to prison and understanding the importance of life and ethics and morals. And then as well as just kind of having thick skin, understanding.
You have to.
You got to have thick skin to make it in this world.
Are you afraid to fail at things, Scotty?
I fail every day.
I think that jump roping. He's afraid to jump rope in front of people, but other than that, we are not afraid to fail. We're not afraid to try something new. And you know what I mean?
I bought a jump rope. It came in yesterday. I was practicing in my room.
See? And then I can't wait to see Scotty jump rope videos, and it's gonna be like, little did you know, took him 35 years to get here, but here we go.
I hate jump rope.
And I hope that your jump roping videos go so viral. And you're gonna be like, why did I wait so long to jump rope? Ian, I have a question for you.
Talk to me.
Scotty and I have had some legal troubles in our lives that kind of set us back. Did you have any close calls or legal issues or arrests or things that potentially derailed?
Hell no.
What? Yes, I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did.
I've had multiple.
Feds did a sweep.
Yeah. I'm just not trying to talk about it.
Okay, that's fair. But
do you think those played a role as far as helping build your character to where you're at today?
I mean,
or do you think it was really school, dropping out and going back?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just. I mean, it teaches you not to do that.
Yeah.
It teaches you you know what I mean? Like, it teaches you the bad side of.
The worst thing you could do is do something and not learn and then
do it again. Yeah.
What I was alluding to is what I want the people out there listening and the people who are paying attention to understand that even if you've done something, even if you made a mistake, you got arrested, you got kicked out of school, you didn't finish, you didn't graduate, do not let that stop you from educating yourself. Knowledge is power, and it's free, and it's just a web page, a Safari page away. And I think that's a very important aspect of life. You guys, I feel like a lot of people, even now that I'm in a different position, people always reach out and they ask questions like, well, what do I do to get this brand started? And how do I, what should I do? And it's like, there's no right or there's no wrong answers. Like,
you just
a design is a design. You can go look at some off-white shirts and you could be like, that is a horrible design, but the shirt sold for $350. No, but what I'm saying is there's no rhyme or reason. Like there's
Yeah.
For sure.
It takes more than just having a cool shirt.
Yeah.
In my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like, and I talk to our guys downstairs too, about that. It's just like starting a clothing brand is the hardest thing in the world.
I tell people that all the time.
Because it's like
So
you have to get people to buy into it and to buy your stuff. And it's like, we even tried that when we started Well Off with Dion. Like, it's hard to get people to buy your shit.
Yeah.
When they don't know who
I just
you
feel
are.
like they have to be invested into you as a whole and a brand before you can actually start the brand.
That's why I tell the guys-
relatable.
Yeah,
Something about
or
it has
relatable.
to speak out to where you're like, that's me, and then you can put it on.
That's why I tell the guys, it's like, you guys are like, don't squander the opportunity that you have with us helping you guys start brands, because you guys get to skip the hardest part, which is getting people to buy your stuff, because we're allowing you to put it in
we
our
create the outlet
store.
for you.
You have the outlet here that's already created for you, that is now people are going to come in and they trust our opinion. So when we tell them that your brand is cool, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get that.
You
that,
already have
You
that.
already have that. Yeah.
When
you
I
already get that.
When I first got in the clothing game, when I first started Giza, I assumed that my friends and family would be the main ones to support me early on in this endeavor. I learned very quickly that your friends and family will be the last to support. And the reason why is because it's your homeboy. They not necessarily expect it for free, but it's like, it just feels different to like support your homeboy. And it was people that I went to high school with, but weren't necessarily friends, and just kind of like left field people who knew me, who were showing the most love and support. So to all you guys out there starting brands, understand that you're expecting your immediate people, your friends, your closest friends and family to support you, but they're going to be the last, and it's not their fault. It's just the way these things work. Sometimes you need that secondary validation. If I tell you 100 times, go listen to my new mixtape that just dropped, you're not going to do it. But if Scotty says, yo, you need to jam this new mixtape, jammed it on the way to work, and you get that secondary opinion, it changes everything.
That's like the NFT stuff. That person that asked us about NFTs, like, that's why all these NFT projects were just trying to get a
Rappers
face, a
and
rapper,
people,
because you trust the rapper, you think he's cool, so you're gonna buy the NFT.
Who was, or what store was the first store to carry Giza?
It's actually on my page. It was just
Aside from that, who else? What other
Status.
Who ran Status at that time?
Scotty.
That's right.
Scotty.
That's
Scotty.
right. We
But-
carried Giza up in
That's
that.
right.
It was
Egyptian
crazy.
cotton.
We did though. We did carry
Because
it. It
Egyptian.
was tight.
If you guys scroll down my page, you'll see this was a time on Fairfax. Like now Fairfax is like this crazy destination location, where before it was really just the
Culture.
scene
It was real.
kids. It was a real place for just the hypebeast kids. And so you only had Dope Couture, a handful of stores, but they were mostly just skate shops and regular boutiques that
DGK.
carried skate brands and
Yes.
things like that. It was
Crooks Castles.
Correct. That was all you really
Dolphin.
had for streetwear. And so I used to
Diamond
go down
Supply.
there, and I used to go from store to store until I could get my brand in stores, and I did.
Yeah.
But that was the way you used to have to do it. Now you just reach out on IG, send a
Yeah,
line
now you
sheet,
just DM.
all of this kind of stuff. But I say that because kids are lazy. Like, this wasn't that far ago. It was 10
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago. But I used to get out and hit stores, pull up. And I mean, even think about that in the early days of Status, Scott, where guys with the sales reps would travel around and come see us and pull up with a rack and pull these bags out and show us what they had. And they go from store to store, city to city, traveling the world. And that's the best way to get your stuff in the stores, to be honest.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Chris still says that's the best way.
I agree.
The old-fashioned way.
The old fashioned.
It's easier to say if you send me an email, it's easier for me to look at that email and glance and click delete and move on with my life than it is for you to show up in person, give me a 20-minute presentation on why your brand is awesome and why I should carry it. It's a lot harder for me to say no. It's if you're exciting and you bring the right energy, then I'm gonna say yes just because I like you and I you know what I mean? And it's like you just have a different chance there. So
That's like
get out and meet people, kids.
I had to just pay someone right now for some shoes that I forgot about, and I felt real bad. So if I was on my phone, it's because I had to pay this
They
guy.
don't like it when you're.
They don't
Yeah.
like it when you're on the phone.
Yeah, so I had to pay somebody for some shoes that I bought
How are you forgetting about them?
Because I buy from 9,000 people.
What's the
It's
if I'm a young reseller and I'm out there listening, what is the easiest way for me to sell shoes to Master Chef Ian?
Wow, you just opened the portal.
So let me tell you something. I'm going to be so brutally honest right now. It's real hard. Okay.
I love it.
But
tell him why.
It's really hard because this is the thing is like I deal with consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when, and it's different because I don't want to discourage the kids that are like trying to sell like, hey, I got 3 pairs of shoes. I'm trying to flip these 3 into 6, but just know like, you got to know where to go sell those shoes. Like, don't just be like, all right, I got 3 pairs to sell. I'm going to go hit up.
You should have been in the pit at SneakerCon.
Yeah, like you got to find out where the place is to sell it. Don't go to a huge store and be like, hey, let me get your time and sell you 3 pairs.
Really quickly, at least 5 times at SneakerCon this past weekend, kids were like, hey, are you buying? Like walking by on the fly. And I'm like, no, but there's a giant tent there that says we buy everything.
Yeah.
And I have to like point them. But it's like, why are you walking around this room?
Because that tent's lowballing.
Yeah,
and I
know
noticed
trying to dump and get your money.
I watched Carlos's vlog, and Carlos went to there and sold. He sold a pair of off-white 5s off his feet. Sale off-white 5s for $280.
Why? I would have bought those.
That's what I'm saying. And I was just watching. Well, I don't know if it was just for content, but I'm watching. I'm like, and this guy like was fighting him to sell that, to buy that, like to get that pair, and he didn't want to give it for that cheap. He wanted like an extra $10 or something less or something, whatever.
Yeah,
but I was just like,
I had to settle
so
an argument
little.
between 2 guys over whether to sell the shoe for $240 or $245. I'm like, are you guys really doing this?
yeah,
right now?
no, that's what was going. That's what Carlos said. He's like $10. Like you're really not going to buy this over $10. And I'm already giving, and in my head I'm like, bro, $280 for an off-white 5 sale, like in good condition.
Hey, just do good business, and the customers will come, and you don't have to worry about $10.
But back to your question though, Larry, like for us to like, I have like at this point I've been buying for so long that I have like a Rolodex of probably like 50 to like 80 people.
Okay,
I have like 50 to 80 people, and they're consistent. They're super consistent.
And their prices are fair.
And their prices are fair. They know what the deal is. I mean, sometimes they're not fair, and I don't, and then I pass. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like, but like, be consistent, and like, if you're trying to sell to big stores, like, it's much harder for me to buy singles versus buying bulk.
Yeah,
like bulk is so much easier.
But even bulk variety sucks too. You're trying to buy bulk.
It's hard.
Size runs.
It's hard, and I have like, I got little gems, you know, little people that are like my gems that I'm like.
Because we take pride in having one style in every size.
Yeah, exactly. What Scott said.
You don't go to our store and just see a bunch of randoms.
Yeah,
one-offs.
Got this in a size 9? Nope.
Yeah.
Got this in a size 10?
Everything is completely from toddler or at least base size. All
and how many stores have we been to, Scott and Larry, where you walk in and it's just like a smorgasbord? It's just like every shoe on the shelf, every other shoe is a different shoe.
Yeah.
And the whole store is just different shoes.
Yeah. And it's like, it's usually
cool.
last us.
It's cool when it's your size.
It's cool when it's your size. And like, it's fun for us when we go in there and those are the stores we like, you know what I mean? But like for like an average consumer, for a regular person that's at the mall shopping, going to do their regular shopping, they're used to going to H&M and they have small, medium, large, XL, double XL, and you can just pick what you want.
So let me ask you this. If you, let's say you just opened a new store, and obviously you have to do a little bit of consignment. What do you think is like okay, let me backtrack. Someone like JC, he will tell you that he has like 30,000 consigners. Now, the man has built this crazy system to be able to handle that. I don't expect your local reseller to be able to handle that type of capacity, but do you think that having a small trusted group is easier to manage than 30,000 people or 100 consigners or whatever it may be?
I mean, yeah. I mean, this goes back to just consignment versus owning your own stuff.
Tell me your thoughts.
I mean, okay, I get why JC does consignment because there's a bigger plan for the company. Because he used to do a half and half. He used to own some of the shoes and then consign half of the shoes. And I understand why he's full consignment because
he built a machine.
There's a machine. It's a plan. It's he doesn't have to be involved. Like we're very involved with what goes down in the store.
We're pot committed.
Yeah, we're pot committed.
Own everything.
Yeah, if we get pulled out, and in my opinion, because of the more effort that we put into buying and doing all that, there's more profit to be made when you do it that way versus consignment. But the downside to that is you have to be involved. That's the whole problem, right? Because I get like trying to not be involved or not having to be involved so that the machine can just run by itself.
Sure.
And I get that. But in my opinion, like if you're not at that level, if you're not that big, like you can be involved and make more money.
Scott, what do you think about consignment? Would you go back, or do you prefer the system that we've created with just being self?
Ian's phone vibrates every 10 seconds, and it's just very annoying. Take your phone off that on this, please.
I got it.
It's like
I don't got to. I got to buy shoes.
it's every episode.
It doesn't sleep.
Never ends.
Yeah, you know it never ends. The store downstairs either. It never ends.
It depends on just kind of what kind of liability you can lay with. You know, some people aren't good handling other people's money as far as money management. Some people would rather feel less stress knowing that they don't, you know, it's less attachment to the shoe without owning it. And then you have people like us who prefer to own it because we create the leverage of sale depending on who walks through the door.
But
as the shoe goes up, that's more profit in our pockets and not more profit in the other person that owns its pockets.
I do feel like consignment stores though just take everything for the most part, right?
Right. But the cool thing about us is like we could buy a shoe for $300 and let's say it doesn't sell through, and then 6 months down the road that shoe's now $600. So now we went from, you know, $50 profit to $350, and nothing changes on us except us making more profit. If that shoe was owned by somebody else and they gave it to you at $350 and you're making like $25 off of it, and then 5 months down the road that shoe's worth $600, they up
their price.
You're still just making 25 to 50 now, but now they're making 300 profit.
And elaborate a little bit on the leverage you're talking about. Like, for example,
for multiple reasons,
if I come into your store and there's a 10.5 I like, and it's $500, and I'm like, can you do 400? And then you have to like go check.
How many times have we been at stores where they're like, I got to call the consignment, and it's like a 30-minute ordeal.
Yeah, if he doesn't answer, they can't get a hold of him, or the books are so big that they don't know exactly whose shoe it is. It's just this long, drawn out process. And when you're buying something, people, most of the time when they're buying high priced items, it's more of an impulse. So the longer that you take on getting back to that person for the price that they can sell to them for, the more of a chance they have to lose interest.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so while I'm over here calling Timmy to figure out if I can knock $20 off,
shout out Timmy.
Susan is now waiting, and then, 5-10 minutes go by. She's just like, hey, tell the guy, never mind. I got somewhere to be. I got to go. And she leaves, and you lost the sale. Us, hey, man, can you do this for $430 instead of $450? Yeah, man, I got you. You come in here all the time. I'm going to show you some love. Or, hey, if I buy like 3 or 4 pairs, can you knock like $30-$40 off each pair? Sure, why not? Boom. Question is answered instantly. And that person is therefore feeling respected and will buy more. And then, you can leverage the sale.
Or they call me.
Or they call you.
Which I will say, that leads back to the other part, though, which is you have to be, if you're going to own that stuff, you have to be more involved.
Yeah, because you have to be there to answer that final line of, can we take $20 off here? Can we take $30
versus most
here?
consignment stores, if people start asking that, they're probably just like, no.
Yeah.
We're just very, not only the face of the company, but we're also the ins and outs.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Most people will build it up and then they'll go attack other things. Us, I still report to work at 1:00 every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still here every day. And even on the days that I'm off. And people got to understand, it's like I play both parts.
But I do feel like at the end of the day, I still think owning all your own stuff makes the most profit.
Makes the most profit, and or it's also a liquid asset.
Like at
the end of the day, if some shit hits the fan,
you still have that.
The economy crashes or whatever. Yeah. I have this.
Yeah, but if the economy crashes, you're also taking the L.
Retail.
You also take that L though.
I'll take retail though.
Yeah. There's both sides to it though.
So it's like I'll take retail than nothing. Imagine if the economy crashes and everyone just comes and takes their shoes. Then
then you don't have a store.
Yeah.
Then you don't have a store, which is worse, in my opinion.
So we were able to float during COVID because we owned our shoes.
Yep, exactly.
There was no way in hell that if COVID hit and I didn't own any of these shoes in the store and I was trying to get them off to pay rent, that the co-signers were going to allow me to do that. No, they're going to want their price that their going rate is.
And most stores that I have noticed this though from all the stores we've gone to, most stores that do consignment, usually the guys that own the store do also own pairs in there. It's usually half and half. It's usually half and half. It's not mainly full consignment.
Nah, but when they see the opportunity, they're gonna do it.
But I'll tell you, like I can like name on a hand how many stores own all their stuff. It's not very many.
But also, I couldn't tell you.
It's not very many.
Everybody has their pros and cons to doing it. So like my pros and cons for the differences is probably different from someone who is a consignment.
Right,
store.
Absolutely.
They're probably like, no, it's less stress for me to not own them.
Scotty loves to be here. He loves to be at work. He loves to be around. He loves to be.
I'm here on my days off.
And some people just want to be absentee owners.
Yeah. They just want to own something, let it run by itself, and then go attack other things, like you were saying.
Like these guys get mad when I'm like, yo, we could just film on Monday, and Ian and Larry are like, no, that's my day off. I'm not coming in. I'm like, cool, I'll be here. Just let me know.
Yeah, I need sanity.
I somewhere when we were trying to figure out like how to expand into getting more employees, because we're so used to running the show that it was hard for us to even let go and hire employees and trust other people to handle the sales downstairs. I know that if Scotty and I are downstairs, then the store is going to do X amount in sales, but by leaving it in the hands of employees, now you can, expect a 20% slide because those people don't care about it the same way we do. And so that's an adjustment that you have to look for, is if you're not going to be at your store, you're not going to be running it, you just know that your sales are going to be subpar and very regular compared to what they could be if you were involved and you were committed.
That's because we built it with our face from the jump.
Yeah.
And not only that, but sometimes sometimes it does go down a little bit when we're on the floor, because I know everybody and I feel obligated to hook everyone up because I love just taking care of everyone that I know, whether it's a regular or a friend. So when I'm on the floor, I'm like, oh, what's up, man? And I'll go over to I'm like, yo, make sure you knock like 15% off whenever he checks out. I'm happy because I just love hooking everybody up, and I love taking care of people.
That's a big part of what we built this for, right? Like it's a big part of what we do. Like I was, as we were doing these interviews, we were hiring on some new people this week and talking about what got us into this game. And I think just the satisfaction of somebody coming in, not really knowing too much, but they kind of want to get into streetwear, and you have to just completely flip their world upside down, get them to try on things that they would never try, the extended tees and all these things that would, the different quirks that come along with fashion, converting people over to skinny jeans. Like, we've really been through it, and that's some of the most pleasure that I get from this job, is the satisfaction of putting people on and introducing them to this game.
I put Izzy in an XL t-shirt. He's 150 pounds. Put him in an XL t-shirt, told him oversized was the wave, and he hasn't looked back since.
He's going to be wearing oversized till the day.
He hasn't worn a size large in like 3 years.
No, that kid's he's a medium or a small.
Yeah. He only gets XL.
All he wears is XL.
But that's the vibe.
He puts that shit on.
You learn from the best. I put that shit on. And so that's a big part of it. So, man, I hope you guys are getting something out of this.
I feel like that was some good knowledge for him.
Kind of freestyled this.
Yeah, we freestyled this one for y'all, so hopefully that was all right.
But we can talk business with y'all all day. Ian, I think we went live for a couple minutes. Did we get any good questions?
Yeah, I mean, we can end it off with this. We'll end it off with a couple questions. Let me see. What's your thoughts on the Flight Club pick of guys selling lost and founds?
Sure,
There's two ways to depict it, though. People are going based off the box that comes straight from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Which is the boxes that lands in the stores before they take them out of the box to sell to the consumer. Mm-hmm. So when you see them in that box with the sideways diamond, then you automatically think like, okay, these are coming direct. But for all we know,
the shoe is not out yet, so it's backdoored no matter what.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it too. It's like, it has to be backdoored. But here's the thing: it's like Flight Club's owned by Foot Locker.
Yeah.
So like I've always thought there was some weird things going on.
You've never seen
there.
like a shoe drop and then 3 minutes later you get a notification from the apps like Stadium Goods and Goat, and then they're like, no, available. I'm like, you didn't even give me 30 seconds after the release, and now you're already telling me it's available.
Like, it's weird.
I mean, I'm sure obviously they do that for the sake of marketing, even if there wasn't some weird backdoor stuff going on between them. Like as StockX, if a shoe drops, then it's important for me to promote right when a shoe drops to let people know you can grab it here too. But I do think there is some conspiracy theory into
the whole question, right, of this lost and found thing. I mean, I can go ahead and just answer it. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I got offered 1,200 pairs of lost and founds yesterday. Backdoored from boutiques. So
total or one?
That was one boutique, one store that owns multiple boutiques, multiple locations. So yes, they are being backdoored.
At the end of the day,
everything is.
I don't, as much as we can sit here and discuss it, there's nothing's gonna change it.
No. It's there. That's just don't really see a day.
That's how you create the consistent supply and demand and the hype.
Yeah, correct. And that's the thing. Is
if everybody could get it, no one would want it.
Because everybody's like, there's 500,000 pairs of these lost and founds. I'm going to double up. And I'm just like, bro, do you know how many of these pairs are ever going to see retail? Like where you have a shot to get it for retail?
They made 1 million pairs of
Cool Grays.
Cool Grays. And what's the price on a Cool Gray right now?
A lot. It's probably still $300-$400.
What I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, let me keep going. What else we got? Where do you guys see your brand in the next 10 years?
In every major boutique and resale store.
Absolutely. I see us finally merging that gap between, oh, it's a retail store, oh, it's a resale store. I see us bridging that gap. And then also, we have a lot to offer when it comes to clothing. We haven't even begun to dip into the actual real creative side of Scotty and I understanding how to present a brand to people. And I think once we get to that point and we can really, really give you guys what we're capable of doing, like I know 10 years from now, it's like we talked about in the last podcast, we talked about the picture that's like Virgil and Dauncey and all the, like 10 years from now, like we will definitely be leading the wave when it comes to streetwear and just this whole realm of being an independent boutique.
Well, we've already started making progress moving forward to, we're now building out the platform for the brand. And so hopefully by the end of this year, we can start creating, head to toe capsules.
Yeah,
pants,
that's the goal.
Jackets, hats, things of that matter, but more in a strategically fashion forward way. So trendy way. So I want to follow trends. I want to also set my own trends, but I also like to follow trends. I mean, that's really how it works. The major fashion houses create these styles, and then everybody else kind of trickles down and does it in their own way. Yeah. Stacked pants, like out at apartment. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's just one of the things that those people started. And now you see them everywhere.
I feel like beyond that, it's like we also we're not stuck to just sneakers and fashion.
No.
Like I see us like what you were talking about yesterday, Scott, where you were telling me about those guys that own all those different.
I know, I want to do it.
Like we want to get into all different types of niches.
Yeah, my boy Awesome and Imran, Milkshake Concepts, they own like Fedora, Citizen, all these different places, and were talking about, they had posted like their office, and they're like, office number 1 was Starbucks, office number 2 was the back of Stir, and then office number 3 was the picture, which was his sick ass office in Deep Ellum. And I guess they're moving out to an even bigger office, and it's called Milkshake Concepts. And that business is the headquarters that creates and builds all the businesses they own in Dallas, and then they just opened one up in Nashville. And I was telling Ian, I was like, man, it'd be really cool because I have so many ideas when it comes like the food to create. I'm not business savvy in that area. I could figure this out on my own. That one's a little bit more difficult to try to figure out on my own. I'd have to team up with somebody or get the right person on our team.
Yeah.
That knew like
to execute it for me.
As much as we know about sneakers and fashion, they would have to know that. You'd known that side. Yeah.
And I would love to. I got 3 different restaurants in my head right now.
Yeah. We got all sorts of stuff. So I'd say
if you open food concepts, you own some restaurants, tap in with your boys.
Like really own.
Yeah. Like you really, really do it.
Tap in with your boys.
But
you know Chef Greg would be our first hire.
Oh yeah.
I'd let him run it.
Have to be. But I think that's good. Well, maybe we'll come back and do more like live questions. Maybe we can do that another time and get some more stuff.
I know Drew's trying to hop on here too.
Yeah, we need
Drew on here.
Yeah, let's do
ASAP. Drew, Kais, Common Hype, Flash, Chris No. I mean, there's a bunch of different people that have all agreed. We need to hurry up and try to get this thing situated.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. If you have questions for us, DM us, let us know. We'll be opening up some questions so we can bring that stuff to light. We really care about what you guys want to hear, and things that you're struggling in with your own business or your own life, things that we can address here and bring to light. Let us know. We're always open for a private conversation. We'll see y'all next time.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.